In this video, we're going to take a look at one of the most useful tools to troubleshoot your computer. So like if you go to the hospital and they hook you up to all those machines, this is kind of the same thing. It monitors you in real time and gives you information. So let's say your computer's running slow or there's something just doesn't feel right. This is the best tool to use. What you do is you can go down and right click on anywhere on the taskbar that's clear. Just right click on it and then this will come up and you'll see where it says Task Manager. Click on that and the Task Manager comes up. You can also get to it by on the keyboard. The shortcut keys would be hold down the Control, Alt, and then Delete key all at the same time. That'll bring up a window and you'll see where it says Task Manager. You can also search for it. Just type in Task and you'll see Task Manager right there. If you're not logged in as the administrator, sometimes you may have to be if you want to kill certain tasks that are running. What you can do is click on where it says Run as Administrator, and then at that point you could log in as the administrator if you're not logged in as an administrator. So once you open up the Task Manager, if you see they have a few things at the top. They have View, and then they have Update Speed, and it's normally on normal, which is fine. I always put it on high. It just updates a little quicker. And you have File and then Run Tasks. This is handy too. Let's say you can't search for anything. The search button doesn't work, the start menu doesn't work, Explorer's not responding. You could always come here and do Run New Task and just type in whatever you want. Explorer.exe would be a good one if the Explorer shell has stopped responding. But on CMD, as you can see, you could pull up the command prompt and then there you could get to some troubleshooting tools also. So back on the Task Manager, now let's look at the tabs that are available here. Processes, this is one of the most important. A lot of times you can pop over here to Performance and get a quick look and see what, if anything, is running. So normally what will happen is the CPU and disk are the main ones. You'll look and your computer will be slow and you'll go to look in here and you'll see your CPU is maxed. Or you may see the disk is maxed at 100%. So that's the reason it's going to be slow. So then at that point you'll have to figure out what is using the disk or what is using the CPU, or it could be memory. But this just gives you a quick look. If you click on these, it'll bring it up on the bar graph to the right. So like if you wanted to say, hey man, the Ethernet, what's using my internet? And so that would be the Ethernet cable plugged into the back. You may also see one for Wi-Fi. This is a desktop computer, so it doesn't have Wi-Fi, but it has a few disks. Most of the time you'll probably just have disk 0, which should just be one disk that you have. You can see this is an SSD. So it's a high-speed hard drive. And then you have, was actually added in one of the updates of Windows 10, and it's GPU. You can see the GPU if you have one, so that's really cool. And that's for your graphics processing unit. So let's say you see the CPU is high. What do you do then? Well, then you would go back to the Processes tab, and this is where you can actually look. If you see down here, you see where it says Fewer Details. If you click on that, it just shows you any programs that are actually running. And if you click on More Details, you'll get to see everything it's running, and it's quite, it's quite a lot. A lot of stuff you won't know what it is. This is all the stuff it takes for Windows to run. Some people have more, some people have less, depending on how many applications that you have installed. So what you do is you go in here and you can look up here and see the disk is at 0, so that wouldn't be the problem. And let's say the CPU is at 99%. What you do is click on CPU to sort it by who's using the most. And you can see right here, live screen capture. And you might say, what is that? Well, that's what we're using Corel's live screen capture to record this video that we're talking on right now. But that could be anything. It could be the virus scan. It could be something that you've never heard of. And if it is, you can always search your favorite search engine to see what it is. And it may be something that you may have to uninstall. You'll say, hey, I've never heard of this program. So you could go to Add Remove Programs and just uninstall it. Now, there could be some things, like you may see System in here, and so System covers quite a bit. So if you did see System, what you may have to delve down even further, what you could do at that point is go to Performance, and then down here you'll see Open Resource Monitor. Now the Resource Monitor is a great tool too. It just delves in even deeper. And let's say the disk usage was at 100%, and let's say it was on System. If you look at System, there's so many things that run underneath it, you wouldn't know what it was. So what you could do at that point is go to Performance, and then if you look down here, you see Open Resource Monitor. And this just delves down even deeper. So if you go to Disk, And then you could look under System. There's System. Just click on it. And then once you click on System, you can look under Disk Activity. And then you can actually see each individual item that's running under it. Then you can, over there, you see where it says Total Bytes. This is Total Bytes read and written. And then you can see it's the master file table. So then you could look that up and say, hey, why is the master file table using so much? Or you might see something called WMI, and you'd look that up and find out that that's for Windows updates. So then you could at least know, okay, Windows updates is what's using up all the disk right now, and then once it's done, it may go away. There's how you can delve down into it. Now, let's go back to our task manager and go through the other tabs. We have app history, and it'll show you how much CPU time it's used, how much network time. This is pretty cool too. A startup, this is a great one. Not only can you see what's in here, what all starting up when you start your computer, you can also enable or disable it. You see the disable button? So there may be stuff starting up that you don't even know about. It may be something that you don't even want on your computer. If it is, you could go to Add Remove Programs, simply remove it. Users, this is a good one. There could be multiple users logged onto your computer. If there is, you can come here and see it. If you reboot your computer and there's multiple users, it would bump them off anyway. As soon as it restarted, it would just start up and have one person log on. And before you restarted, it'd say, hey, do you want to restart? There's other people logged on. But this is just a quick way to see who all is logged onto the computer locally. And you have your details here. I usually don't use this one much. Services is pretty good. Now, this is all the services that start when your computer turns on. So like if you install a program, it may install services that run in the background. And if you go over the processes, you can see a lot of services running over here. And on here, you can right click on it, and then you can do search online. It'll tell you more about it. On the services, you can sort by status. You can see if it's stopped, if it's running, if it's disabled. Now, if there's a service that you want to get more information on, you can highlight it by clicking on it and then right click on it. You can start and stop it here. You can restart the service. And this is what I was talking about. When you open Task Manager, you might have to open it as administrator in order to be able to start and stop some of these services. You can open services, and it gives you a little more detail about the services, the startup type. You can sort by startup type if it's automatic. If a program has to open it manually, if it's disabled, gives you a little bit of more control here. But you can still easily get to all the information you need right here. So that's about it. There's some more information that we could go over in future videos about troubleshooting. Using the event viewer would be one of them. But this would be your first go-to program, the Task Manager. It's really easy to open. You can go to Performance tab and get a quick view of the system stats. And then you can go to Processes and start sorting by columns and start narrowing it down pretty quickly. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I'd be more than glad to help. Have a great day.